Guys, learning can be so interesting. Welcome to my channel. My name is Christine, and on today's tutorial, we are going to look at measurement of building and civil works, whereby we are going to take quantities of substructure works. We have a well-explained simple example that is going to guide most of us through the basic ways, through the basic taking off, how to start a taking off, what you need to know. So guys, be glued to this channel. Kindly, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, and most of all, feel most welcomed and know that your comment is of a lot of impact to our growth. So don't feel free to subscribe, feel free to comment, and feel free to share. So guys, this is our substructure works, and we are going to take off all the quantities up to the DPC. So we have the plan here. This is our plan. You can see how it looks like. We have this wall, the main wall, and then we have another wall here. And then we have this section here that does not have anything. It's open. And then we've been given the dimension, the wall thickness, and then the section has been cut across at this point so that we can be able to see the details of that section. Now let's go to the section itself. This is our section here. XX, we have the outside wall, and then we have the inside wall, which of course is the partition wall. Now we have the dimension for the trench. It's 600 millimeters wide. We have blinding mass concrete, and then the wall is natural stone wall. And then we've been given the depth of the wall up to the trench. And then we have the partitioning wall. The only difference is that this partitioning wall, it's 450 millimeters wide, and then the blinding is 50, same as the main wall. And then the mass concrete is 150, and then the stone wall is 150. Then we have 350 Adico, 250, sorry, 25 millimeters maram, and then we have the slab. We've been given the notes here. The site is bushy, and then vegetable soil, average 150 millimeters, is to be preserved. Now let's kick off the journey to taking off that substructure. Kindly follow with us, and if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, share, leave a comment, at least some words, ask a question, at least let's educate each other. So items to measure, we have site clearance, excavation of top vegetable soil, excavation to reduce level, trenches, we have the item, foundation blinding, foundation concrete, foundation walling, hardcore, maram, concrete slab, formwork to the slab, DPC, and soil adjustment. So we are going to start with the site clearance. These three items here, they share the same dimensions. So we are going to we are going to calculate the dimensions of the three items, and then we are going to book them together, and then they are going to share the dimension, but we are going to give them different descriptions. Now for the site clearance, we need the length and the width of the site. So our length is from this point up to this point. That is 200 plus 4200 plus 200 plus 2000 plus 200 plus 4200 plus 200. That gives us 11200. And our width is 200 plus 5200 plus 200. That gives us 5600. And then we are going to add projection because that is along the wall here. But for us to be able to excavate the trench, we must get this width, which is 600. And for us to be able to get the 600, you can see we have a projection of 200. So it's going to project the outside side by 200 and then the other side by 200. So what we do, we take 600, we subtract the wall, that is 200 thick. What is left is 400, and then we divide by 2 this side and this side. So we'll have 200, 200 for this side and 200 for that side. So our projection is going to be 400. So let's see that. Yeah, we have 200, that is 400. It gives us 11,600 and 6,000. Now let's get to the reduced level. We said that this level is the amount of excavation that we are going to do for us to get to the hardcore bed down here. How much excavation are we going to do from the ground level? Now, we have our slab here is 100, and then from the slab, top of the slab up to the ground level is 200, meaning whatever remains here is 200 minus 100, that gives us 100. And then we have the maram plus the hardcore, that is 350 plus 25, they give us 375. Now, for us to get the reduced level, now we've said here from this point up to this point is 100, but from this point up to this point is 375. So if you subtract 100, we are left with 275. That is from ground level up to the bottom of the hardcore is 275. 275, we subtract the vegetable soil because we are going to strip off after we have removed the vegetable soil. So we subtract 150, that gives us 125 millimeters. Now we book the three items, 11.60, 6.00. You can see the three items, they share the same description, there. So clear the site of all the bushes, shrubs, small trees, uproot, undergrowth, and burn on site. Upper sand, excavate vegetable soil starting from ground level, depth of 150 millimeters. Upper sand, excavate to reduced level, average depth 125 millimeters starting from stripped level. And then we said we had the void. Now we have taken the 11, we've taken the 11,600, 11,12 and 200, sorry, from this point up to that point. And then 56 is from this point up to this point. That is the area, meaning we've covered even this point here for us to get the full 11,200 by 5,600. Now, this part here, that part here is the one that you will fit here. This part fits here, meaning now our our excavation is, our site clearance is complete. So we have not overdone the excavation, so we are on point. But we need to deduct the void. We need to deduct the void, that is this area. That area, now we need to deduct the void, that is from this point up to here is 2400. So we need from this point up to that point is 2400, and then from this point up to that point is 200. So that is what we are removing. But remember, this wall here has come here, so what is left is from on top of the wall upwards, that is 2200. So we have 2000 by 2200, that is what we are deducting. Sorry, this is 2200. So these are the last three items. Now let's move to the next item, that is the trenches. Now for the trenches, our length, that we find the mean gut. The mean gut is the distance along the center line. The distance along the center line. So we've done a sketch here. From this point up to this point is 11,200, and then from this point up to this point is 5,600. So you add the two, gives us 16,800. We multiply by 2, that gives us 33,600. And then we less 40 because we are on the outside and we are coming inside to the center line. We less for the thickness, that is 800. That gives us 32,800. Now we are going to add these walls, these recess walls. So this part fits here, right? So whatever remains is from this point up to this point and from this point up to that point. Now these ones here are our recess walls. Now for the recess walls, that is from down here up to here was 2400. So meaning from here up to here is 2200. 2200 plus 200, that gives us 2400. So our recess walls are 2400, and you can see there are two, this and this one. So that gives us that 5200, and the width is 600. For the partitioning wall, we have, now we need to find the partitioning wall, the length of that partitioning wall. So from down here, from down there up to here is, from here up to here is 2400 plus 200 the thickness. So this one is 2600. But we know from here up to here is is 5600. So our partitioning wall here is going to be 5600 minus 26. This one is 3000. 3000 minus 200, meaning this one is 2800. So our wall, sorry, this is 2800. That gives us 2800. And then the depth is 450 millimeters. So we are going to find the depth of the trench. How deep is the trench? We are told from ground level, from the ground level is 1600, and then the mass is 200, the blinding is 50, same as the partitioning wall. So for us to find the depth, it will be 1600 plus 200 plus 50, that gives us 1850. And then we less the vegetable soil and the reduced level, or those are the items that we have already done the excavation. It's going to give us 1575. And the other side, because the dimension of the mass is different, we are going to get the 1525. So those are two stages, as you can see, the first and the second stage. So let's book those ones. Now let's book for the trenches. So we have the mean gut, that 5.20, the width 0.60, and then the first stage we said it's 1.5, and then for the partition is 2.80, 0.45, 1.50, and then we say excavate trenches to receive strip foundation starting from reduced level, depth not exceeding 1500 millimeters or 1.5 meters. Now what remains is what we book for the second stage, that is that 5.20, 0.60, 0.75. This is what remains from the outside wall. And then 2.80, 0.45, 0.20, this is what remains from the partitioning wall. So we excavate trenches to receive strip foundation depth exceeding 1.5 meters but not exceeding 3.0 meters. Upper sand we backfill, and then item we allow for necessary planking and starting upper sand dewatering. Now let's go to concrete blinding. The blinding, we use the mini gut and the width. So 3.50, 0.60, and then that is for the main wall, because they have the same dimension, so we are going to book them together. So for the partition is 2.80, 0.45, and then we say plain concrete in 1:4:8 in 50 millimeters thick blinding. We go to foundation concrete. We are also still using the mini gut, the width. Now we are including the thickness of that concrete. So it's 3.50, 0.60, 0.20, that is the thickness. And then 2.80, 0.45, 0.15. Remember the thickness of the foundation concrete for the partitioning wall is 150 millimeters. So it's a plain concrete in 1:3:6 in strip foundation. We deduct backfill, and then whatever remains we remove from site. Now let's go to walling. This is our wall here, and this is the partitioning wall. So we need the mini girth and the linear length for this partitioning wall, and also we need the depth of that wall, or the height of the wall. So as you can see, the height will be 1600 up to ground level, but there is an 100 that is on top of the ground level. That is 200 minus 100 of the slab. We are left with 100. So our height is going to be 1600 plus 100. That gives us 1700. Now let's go and book that one. So our mean gut was at 5.20, and then the height is 1600 plus 100, that is 1700. The linear length is 2800. The height is still the same. Now what is the difference here is the thickness of the wall. So we first book the outside one, that 5.20, 1.70, and then we say 200 millimeters thick natural stone wall, laid and embedded in 1:3 CS mortar, and then the other one is 2.80, 1.7 liter but 150 millimeters thick wall. We deduct and then we remove from site the last two items. Let's go to Addicore. When we are talking of Addicore, if you can look from the plan, if from the section that we have, Addicore is from here up to the wall. So it is not on top of the wall. So we need the inside internal dimensions for us to be able to book for the Addicore. So that is our Addicore. So we are going to divide it into section because here we have a wall, and so that Addicore is not going to go on that wall. Yes. So we are going to divide it into two sections, this and this, and then this and this. So for part A, the internal dimension will be 4200, that is from this point up to this point. And then the width is going to be, this is 2400, but we need from here up to here. So from here to here is 2200, and then we add the thickness of this one. So this is going to be 2400. So this section and this section, they are the same. Then this one, we have from here up to here is 4200. We have the thickness of the wall. So up to the outside here, we are at, up to this point here, we are at 44. Then from this point up to this point is 2000, and then 2000 we subtract the 150. So this point at this point we subtract 150 because we don't need the dimension of, we don't need the wall. It's going to remain 1850. 1850 we divide by 2. This is going to give us 925 this side, and then this side 925. So we have 4400 plus 925, that gives us 5325. And then the width, of course, is 2400 minus 5200, that gives us 2800. Now let's book for those ones. So we have 4.20, 2.40, 0.30 for the hardcore. We are booking in cubic meters. So we need the length, the width, and the thickness. So the thickness is 0.35, that is the 350 millimeters. So this one is by 2, and then the other one is 5.32, 2.80, 0.35. It's also by 2. We say hand packed quarry stone hardcore filling, laid and compacted in layers, average 120 millimeters thick. So let's go to the maram. The maram, they share the same dimension as the hardcore, but now we book it in square meters, and then we state the thickness of the maram. So we have 4.20, 2.40, and then by 2. 5.35, 5.35, 2.80 by 2, then say 25 millimeters thick quarry, dust maram, blinding, laid and compacted and well compacted. Let's go to the slab. So for the slab, we need the length, and the width. The length is 1200 and then the width was 5600. So the length, when you're talking about the length and the width, that is, this is 1200 and this is 5600 because the slab is covering the entire area. So we are going to measure it in whole, this by this area, bearing in mind that this part here is going to fill this part here, so we don't have any excess. But we've now taken the entire area, but remember this part here is a void, so we are going to take the entire area and then we subtract the void. So we have 11200 by 56 and then the void is 200 by 2400. So we say VRC1 is to 3 is to 6 in 20 millimeters in 100 millimeters thick slab, and then upper sand BRC mesh reference A142 upper sand 1000 millimeters gauge bolt in DPM, and then upper sand and termite treatment according to manufacturer's instruction. And then we are going to deduct the last four items, that void, that is 2.00 by 2.40. Now formwork to the edges of the slab. When you're talking about the edges of the slab, we need the formwork that will hold the concrete along this point to that point to that point up. So this point by 2, it means it's this point and this point, this one included. Bear that in mind. When we are talking of by 2, 11, 1200, from here up to here by 2, it's 11, 1200, this and this one, because when we bring this down, this becomes a complete set. And then we have 56 by 2, and then we have these recess walls by 2. So we have 11200 by 256 by 2, 2.40 by 2. So sawn timber to the formwork of the edges of the slab. We go to the DPC. DPC, we use the mean gut. So our mean gut for the outside wall was that 5200. So that is what we are using, but it is 200 millimeters wide, 500 grams Spalting DPC. And then for the partition wall, the length was 2.80 ditto, but 150 millimeters wide. And then we go to soil adjustments. So this is where we are doing the soil adjustment. So we are doing the soil adjustment along the entire wall. So we need the mean gut, the depth, the width. This part here, this part is where we are doing soil adjustment. That part there. So that one, and then we need the depth. So the depth is going to be from the top up to the here is 1600, but we less the vegetable soil and the reduced level because we are not going to adjust soil to that point. So vegetable soil plus reduced level is 125 plus 150, that gives us 275 minus 1600 minus 275, that gives us 1325. So we take the mean gut at 5.20, the width 0.20, and then the height 1.30, and then for the partition wall, that becomes now 2.80, and then the thickness is 0.15, and then the height is 1.33, and then we say add backfill and then deduct remove from side. So guys, that is how we take quantities of a simple substructure. Kindly, if you are new, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to leave your comment and don't forget to share. Until next time,